That's off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be Walker, Vetter, and Johannesson. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the Cougars, who enter with a record of 9 and 12 overall. The Gothic Knights are 8 and 4. Line drive off of the glove of a diving Kraft. That's going to roll towards the corner, and Walker is going to have himself a leadoff double.
Now batting, catcher, number 7, Chris Vetter.
It'll bring up Vetter. He's showing sacrifice. That was in the dirt. Fortunately for the Knights, we have this old school backstop right behind home plate. And that prevented a wild pitch. Otherwise, Walker would be at third right now. You wonder over the years how many runs this has saved NJCU, or vice versa, how many runs may have cost the Knights. Bunt is dropped down by Vetter. It's going to trickle foul. End result, Walker's picked off 2-6. And that has happened quite a bit so far this young season. One ball, 2 strikes. Kafer deals, chopped foul. That's off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I apologize for the buffering.
Now batting, shortstop, number 10, Brandon Johannesson.
So 2 away after 1-0. Top of the second inning as we were off the air. But leading off is Lojadice, the left fielder. Fidanza, the third baseman, bats second. Paulzano, the right fielder, hits third. And Krupa, the first baseman, who has the only RBI so far, cleanup hitter. As line towards center field, Mike Ramirez reaches up, and he makes the catch. And the inning comes to a close. Great play by Jan Castellano to pick off the leadoff man after he doubled. And then the next 2 batters go in order. For Kean in the second inning, no runs, 1. Back here for the top of the third, and it'll be DeForge, Lojadice, and Fidanza, the 9-1-2 hitters due up. We have to finish the lineup, and Santagate is the DH batting 5th. Walker, the center fielder, bats 6th. Vetter, the catcher, hits 7th. Johannesson, the shortstop, bats 8th. And DeForge is the second baseman batting 9th. His first at bat of this game. 3-ball count here from Kafer. And he walks him on 4 pitches. Second walk given up by Kafer. So to the top of the order will be Frank Lojadice, who walked in the first and scored the only run. He's hitting .309 on the season.
Now batting, left fielder, number 2.
All right, fans, we're back. I think we worked out some of these technical bugs. This is what happens on a, again, we're on a, basically on a wireless card is how we're able to stream as this field is off campus. So thanks for understanding as we do what we can to at least offer some kind of a video service. And these are the kinks you have to deal with. One away, bottom of the third inning. Kean leading. Tom Pulsini, top of the order. He flied out to right field in his first at bat and could cut at this one now behind 0-2. Kean scored twice with 2 outs in the top of the third. We'll recount that after this pitch. That's wide. So, Kean had runners at second and third with no outs. Fidanza tried to squeeze bunt, but popped in the air. Kafer dove, made the catch through the third for the double play. 2 outs. Lojadice was still at second base. That's a floater towards left field. It's going to fall in for Pulsini. So he'll have a 1-out single. As he goes the opposite way, and Nick Legato, the shortstop, will bat.
Shortstop, number 7, Nick Legato.
With 2 outs, Paulzano slipped a single to second. Pulsini dove to knock it down. Throw was a bang-bang play at first. Berardi couldn't hold on to it, and Lojadice never stopped running. He scored, and Paulzano, who had that single, came in on a double by Krupa. That's where we stand right now, 3-0 Kean in the third. That's a wild pitch that will allow Pulsini to advance. Legato offers that one. That was down low, so a ball and a strike. One ball, one strike here as Diefenbach trying to strand a runner at second. Legato is hitting .353 on the season, and that's a called strike. Home plate umpire is Derek Millick. He's calling balls and strikes. Tom Clare is at first base. Pulsini goes to third. He's a dead duck. No chance there as a great throw by the catcher, Chris Vetter. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count here to Legato now with the bases empty. Kean leading 3-0, the NJAC opener for both schools. Way off the plate, 3-2. So it looks like the signal is actually holding up now as we turn the as line foul by Legato. We went from high resolution to low res, and for those watching on mobile devices, that will certainly be sufficient. But that's the only way we're able to hold up this feed as changing the resolution. That seems to have worked. It's fouled off the plate by Legato, so it remains 3-2. Softball is down at Camden today. They will start at roughly 1 p.m. There is no live coverage of that game because, the NJAC block schedule has has Rutgers Camden, as that is lined deep and foul down the left field line. The NJAC block schedule has Rutgers Camden hosting baseball and softball at the exact same time. And there's only one of me in that position down there, so yeah, I can't do both games. So unfortunately, the softball game today is not covered. 3-2. Line, the left field, coming in and dropping it. Dropping it is the left fielder. That is Frank Lojadice. That is an error. And Legato's aboard with 2 outs.
Now batting, center fielder, number 21, Mike Ramirez.
So Gothic Knights will take advantage, hopefully, of that 2-out error as Mike Ramirez, the senior left-handed hitting center fielder, who may pitch in Game 2, by the way, and that's in the dirt. Ramirez started his career primarily as a starting pitcher for NJCU, but the last year and a half has found his way in the lineup, and he's hitting fairly well right now, batting .286. He had the game-winning hit in the extra innings against Albion down in Florida, 15-14 game. That's low. Two balls and no strikes. On the inside corner, strike one. There goes Legato. Throw will not be in time as he steals second base. And the ball was off the plate. It's 3-1. So 3 balls, 1 strike. Legato standing at second base. Oh, they're saying it's 2-2. All right, we'll make that change, sir. No problem. So 2-2. Umpire Derek Millick informs us, and Diefenbach will throw to Ramirez here with 2 outs and a runner standing at second. About 50 degrees, sunny skies here in Jersey City, the NJAC opener for both schools here on March 31st. And Ramirez fouls that one off into the bay. Ramirez will step in again. The 2-2. Check swing. He went around. And the inning comes to a close. We'll actually say Ramirez was caught looking, as it looks like it was over the plate, even if he held it up there. So Ramirez is caught looking. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on as we head to the 4th. So Walker will step in. Walker, Vetter, Johannesson due up for the Cougars here. Top of the fourth inning in a 3-0 opening game in Jersey City. Walker hitting 143, his current batting average. That includes a double in the second inning today. Walker is a sophomore, 5'10", 185, out of Piscataway, New Jersey, and Immaculata High School. And 2-strike count here to him. Kean is coached by Neil Iaverio. And, of course, NJCU head coach Jerry Smith, who just won his 100th career game on Wednesday against Staten Island, is a Kean graduate. Now in his 7th season with NJCU, class of 2000. Ground ball, Legato knocks it down, and he's not going to have a play. That's going to be an infield single. So Walker's 2 for 2. It'll bring up Vetter, the catcher. Nick Cesare, 7th-year pitching coach for the Knights. Also a Kean graduate and part of that 2007 Kean team that was the NCAA Division III national champion, making Kean one of 5 teams in the NJAC that has won a national title. Montclair's won 3. William Patterson's won 2. Ramapo's won 1. I think Rowan's won 2 in the 70s, if my memory serves correctly. That's going to be a sac bunt here. Kafer will throw on to first. So Vetter does his job there, 1-3 sac bunt. And that moves Walker to second base. So 1 away now, and it'll bring up the shortstop Johannesson, hitting 189. He lined out to center in the second inning. So Montclair State, William Patterson, Ramapo, Rowan, and Kean have all won national titles. TC&J has been in the mix plenty of times. I don't think just going off memory, don't believe they've ever won one, but they've had some remarkable teams over the years. NJCU, Rutgers, Camden, Rutgers, Newark, Stockton one day would like to join that elite club, but for one reason the NJAC is the best conference in Division III in baseball. That's chopped foul by Johannesson, so this makes an 0-2 pitch from Kyle Kafer. That's low. That's fouled off to our right. Berardi's going to give it a look, but it'll be off into the crowd. Kafer looks at second. Walker had a healthy lead off the bag. He will go back to safety. Kafer deals off the handle of the bat and foul. It remains 1-2. That's base hit to left field, and that will score a run. It's 4-0. So a single through the left side by Johannesson. That's an RBI. Walker scores, and a 4-0 lead for Kean. Johannesson thought about going the second, Castellano made a strong throw down to second, forcing Johansson to retreat, and he dives back into first safely at strike one. Another throw back to first, checking on Johansson. Now they have him in a rundown, and he's easily thrown out 2-4. They tried to sacrifice over initially, so DeForge, I think, was trying to bunt there to try to push Johansson there, or at least maybe a hit and run, but Johansson is thrown out 2-4, caught stealing. And then DeForge, strike three, as DeForge strikes out looking, and the inning comes to a close. But Kean gets another one run on 2 hits. And nobody left on for Kean in the 4th inning. I'm in the 4th inning in Jersey City. Ira Thor with you. NJCU Kean, game 1 of a doubleheader. And Berardi fouls this one off to our right. Dan Berardi now hitting .412 on the year after a single in the 2nd inning. I'm just glad I still have a voice. Last night I announced NJ teen George Mason on ESPN, and George Mason came in. That was in men's volleyball, by the way. It'd be nice if I said the sport. I think that was missed by everybody, and it caught the umpire, Derek Millick, and man, he needs a moment. Ashley Pius, our athletic trainer, is going to come out and make sure the umpire is all right. And that's not an easy job back there. Not only do you have folks that are not always happy with balls and strikes that you call, you're also in the line of fire. And Derek needs a moment there. Not sure if it's a foul tip or it's just missed by the catcher Vetter. We'll find out after he says he's good. I think he's good. He's shaking it off. And that's fouled back towards us. Yeah, Nina Carbonero, who's on the PA and scoreboard for us, said neither of us know whether that was a ball or a foul tip that caught our umpire. So we have the scoreboard as 0-2 right now. And he hasn't changed it, so I think we're good. The 0-2, that's high. So I did the George Mason NJT match in the ESPN last night. It's 1-2. It was a ball. Yeah, well, we're good now. We're good now. Yeah. He's still shaking his hand off. He must have really got caught in that hand. The 1-2, way inside. George Mason came to that match yesterday in men's volleyball over in Newark. 8-0, first place in the EIVA conference. That's the one that includes Penn State. NJIT was in 6th place. That is a ground ball towards shortstop. Joe Henderson throws on the first in time for out number 1. And it'll bring up Lennon Gomez.
Now batting, designated hitter, number 24, Lennon Gomez.
But NJIT had other ideas. And it went to 5 sets. And in the 5th set, George Mason tied 13-13, ultimately prevailed 15-13 in an epic 2-hour and 40-minute match. So I'm just glad to still have a voice, and we'll try to bring you 18 innings of baseball here in Jersey City today. And Lennon Gomez hitting .295. He had a bloop single to center in the 2nd inning. That is down the left field line. It is a foul ball. The Cougars come in at 9-12 on the year. They have scheduled tough. And if you look at the schedule along the line, especially down in Florida, they played Arcadia, who was beating Rowan, who's number 1 in the country. Lost to Arcadia 13-3. That's off the plate. Lost to Marietta, who's national ranked 7-6. They lost to Worcester, who's national ranked 5-1. Lost to Marietta, a second meeting, 6-5. They beat Alvernia, who's a good program, 7-5. They lost to Keystone, who's borderline nationally ranked. Fly ball, right center, well hit, drifting all the way to the wall. It's going to hop against the fence. Gomez stumbles as he's going around first on his way to second, but he's there with a 1-out double. So a long double to right center by Lennon Gomez, and the Gothic Knights have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Number 13, Juan Pena.
But in the last 3 games, Kean has righted the ship a little bit. A couple of 1-run wins over Staten Island, 9-8, and Farmingdale, 3-2. And now the games really count as we are in NJAC play, and everybody is even at 0-0. And that includes the number 1 ranked team in the country, Rowan, and TCNJ, who enters as a top 15 program in D3. So a league that is going to be incredibly competitive yet again. Don't forget Ramapo, who's borderline national ranked as well. Pena hitting .341. He struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Off the plate, 2-0. Diefenbach has thrown 55 pitches, 42 for strikes. But not that one. And it's 3-0. On the year, Diefenbach comes in with a 1-2 record, a 6.11 ERA. He has made 6 appearances and 4 starts coming into play, 28 innings, struck out 23, walked 14, a .291 opposing batting average. The 3-0, way high, and Pena walks. First walk given up by Diefenbach, and with 1 away, runners at first and second, Jesse Kraft will step in.
Number 2, Jesse Kraft.
Kraft Eyes that curve off the plate and leaves it. That's now 5 straight balls. And there is a strike zone. Diefenbach with a fastball down the middle, 1-1. For nothing, Kean. They have 7 hits. NJCU now with 4 hits. Here in the bottom of the 4th, the Gothic Knights have played from behind and rallied a number of times this year. Slow roller towards second base, and it gets through the second baseman. Gomez, he will score, and the Gothic Knights on the air get on the board. It's 4-1. So an E4 fielding error. Pena goes to third, and Gomez scores. No RBIs, currently not. And they'll have a conversation on the mound. So Mike Albunia now with runners on the corners and 1 out, and see if the Gothic Knights can draw a little bit closer here as that pitch is low. Stepping off, there goes through throw to second, and caught stealing is Pena. Correction, is Kraft. So now 2 away for Albunia. Called strike. That was, by the way, the first error of the year for DeForge in close to 50 chances. Leaping grab by Diefenbach. He'll flip to first to end the inning. And Kean gets out of trouble on an athletic play by Diefenbach. Albunia grounds out. Pena stranded at third in the 4th inning for the Gothic Knights. A run on 1 hit. There was 1 error and 1 left on. 5th inning coming up in Jersey City. Fifth inning here in Jersey City. Kean up 4-1, and it'll be Frank Lojadice, top of the order, left fielder. Due up, the Gothic Knight men's volleyball team lost to SUNY Poly 3-0, as that match is now final in Morristown in a neutral site contest. Two-ball count here to Lojadice. It's called strike, 2-1. Lojadice, 1 for 1, 2 runs. Floater down the left field line, and it is foul. Lojadice walked and scored in the first, doubled and scored in the third. Ground ball, second base. Pulsini ranges over. His throw's low and dug out by Dan Berardi with an athletic play.
Now batting, third baseman, number 23, Mike Fidanza.
So one away will bring up the third baseman, Fidanza, who is 0 for 2 today. Ground out to second base, and then he popped into a 1-5 bunt double play to the pitcher, Kafer, who made a really great athletic dive to prevent a run. Ground ball to Kraft, strong throw, out number 2. So 5-3 ground out, 2 away to bring up the right fielder, Polizano. Polizano is 1 for 2 today with a single, an RBI, and a run scored, all coming in third. As a called strike. Two strikes here to Polizano. That's fouled back towards us. So Kafer, 2 outs, 2 strikes. That's high. Foul back towards me. I don't flinch, of course. We have a rule in the press box: if you flinch on a foul ball right back at us, you are ejected from the press box for the full inning. It just goes into effect for today's game. Ground ball, shortstop. Nick Legato is there, bobbles it, but recovers and throws out Polizano to end the frame. So a 6-3 ground out. Ground outs to second, third, and short. And Kean is retired 1-2-3 in the 5th inning. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Castellano due up here. And first pitch to him is high. Bottom of the fifth inning. 4-1 Kean on top. Popped in the air. Bright sunny skies. Johannesson giving way to the third baseman. Fidanza makes the catch.
Now batting, second baseman, number 27, Tom Pulsini.
So Tom Pulsini will step in. Second baseman for the Knights. He's 1 for 2 in this game. That's a called strike. Popped in the air, foul. Pulsini currently hitting .396 on the season. That is second on the team to Dan Berardi. Pulsini, who is the younger brother of C.J. Pulsini, who was the catcher for the Knights the last 2 years, transferred into NJCU. Already has 5 steals on the season. Floater towards right center, and that's going to fall in. So Tom Pulsini will now be hitting over .400, his second hit of the game. And the Gothic Knights have a one-out base runner.
Shortstop, number 7, Nick Legato.
So Legato steps in. He's been on base once. That was as the result of an error in the third inning. So he's 0 for 2. His average sitting at .346 at the moment. He is in a 3-way tie for the team lead in home runs with Juan Pena and Dan Berardi. Pena has 2 3-run home runs this year and 11 RBIs. Nick Legato has a grand slam and 12 RBIs. And Dan Berardi has 2 home runs. Both came in the same game. And 13 RBIs. And those have been your 3 big run producers on the team thus far. Pulsini is next on the list with 9 ribbies. 1 ball, no strikes. That's high. NJCU is still very much in this game. A 4-1 contest. Kean has 7 hits and 2 errors. NJCU has 5 hits and no errors. Typically when these teams play, if you see errors on the board, it's the other way around. Kean has been a great defensive team over the years, but a couple of mistakes today. One has led to a run. And that's a swing and a miss. Slow roller to second base. Got past the second baseman to Forge, and that resulted in the only run for the Knights so far. Pulsini's dancing off at first. That is wide of the plate, 2-1. Three balls and 1 strike, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Throw back to first, and diving in safely is Pulsini. Another throw back to first, and Pulsini again dives in. If you're watching the game and would like to say hello to you, correspond with us on the chat here on our YouTube broadcast. Line, down the left field line, foul. Gatto hit it well, but just wide of the third base line by about 5 feet. Now we're rooting for 2 good baseball games here in Jersey City, and also that they're done in time to go home and watch the Final Four tonight. Is I think the only game that anybody really cares about is the first game, and that's Michigan Loyola Chicago. The 2 number 1 seeds playing is almost an afterthought. Ground ball gets past the diving third baseman and all the way towards the corner. Rounding second on his way to third, barely keeping his helmet on his head, is Pulsini. Nick Legato goes to second base with his 5th double of the year.
Now batting, center fielder, number 21, Mike Ramirez.
So Mike Ramirez will step to the dish, hitting .279. Ramirez is 0 for 2 in this game. And a base hit here could make this a 1-run game. So Ramirez hitting .279. Can he drive in a run or get aboard with power hitting Dan Berardi behind him? Ramirez has 7 RBIs on the year, including, as we mentioned earlier, the walk-off winner against Albion. And we're going to have a visit to the mound here. Neil Iverio, the accomplished head coach for Kean, out to have a chat. So after the chat, and we're clearing equipment out from underneath the table here in the press box, that is wide 2-0, Nina Carbonero, midfielder for the Gotham Knight women's soccer team on PA and scoreboard, and also just got clunked by some equipment. Who knew that baseball working games is a contact sport? Makes you feel any better, and you see the scar on my hand. I was down in Florida with the softball team, working one of the tournament games back in March, and the way the softball fields are set up, you have 4 fields in a circle, and foul balls are flying everywhere. Nobody yelled duck, and I got absolutely annihilated by a foul ball. Ground ball, second base, the flip by the first baseman to the pitcher, 3-1. Is in time, but Pulsini scores, and Legato goes to second base. So an RBI ground out by Ramirez, and it's 4-2.
First baseman, number 14, Dan Berardi.
And Dan Berardi will step in now. Try to cut this deficit to 1. Be 1-1 here to Dan Berardi. 4-2 as we update the score here on the graphic in the 5th inning. Bottom of the 5th, Kean on top. Ground ball, shortstop, popped up, caught the shortstop in the face, and he recovers. Johannesson does throw out Berardi on a tough play at short. Then Legato is stranded at third. But in the fifth inning for the Knights, a run on 2 hits and 1 left on. It's 4-2 heading to the sixth. Back here, sixth inning, NJCU Kean in game 1 of 2 in Jersey City. And it'll be Krupa, the senior. I can't believe he's a senior already, but senior first baseman. Remember Matt as a freshman. I want to say he was rookie of the year in the league. And again, I'm doing it off of memory, but he had an amazing freshman campaign. That's off the plate, 1-1. You do this long enough, and the years start blending together. Some of these guys become seniors, and you can't believe it. That's fly ball to right center. Ramirez on the run, makes the catch, loses the hat, but he has the ball. Great running play by Mike Ramirez.
Now batting, designated hitter 6, Steve Santigate.
So Ramirez made that look easier than it probably should have been. 1 out, and Santigate, the DH, hitting 245, ground ball over to Kraft at third base. His throw is low, but Berardi digs it out.
Now batting, the catcher, number 7, Chris Fetter.
So now 2 away, and it'll bring up the center fielder Walker. Walker is 2 for 2 so far today, and that's brought his average up to 200. He had been struggling. He has a double, a single, and 1 run scored. Now, we should say, in Walker's defense, of course, that is in a smaller sample size. This is the 22nd game of the year, and just the 9th game that Walker's played in the 5th start. We were talking about injuries in the last half inning that happened working these games, as we inadvertently nailed our soccer player on the shin. She did not come to work a baseball game in shin guards. Who knew that was going to be necessary? Ground ball to Legato, and he will throw out Walker. And on a 2-2 count, he grounds out to end the inning. So, a 6-3 ground out. And Kean goes in order. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. It'll be the bottom in 6 coming up. So, bottom of the sixth inning here in Jersey City. Kean on top of the Knights 4-2. Kean has 7 hits. NJCU with 6. The Gothic Knights have left 5 on base thus far, so they have not seized opportunities as much as Kean has. Kean has stranded just 2. And a game that would be a great start to the year in terms of NJAC play. There's 18 games in the league. You play everybody twice. You play Saturday doubleheaders in the league, and every other opponent that you don't meet in the doubleheaders, you play in home and home series Thursday, Friday. And that's the way the league has been structured now for roughly 5 or 6 years. I think since we went to this format, and I like it, and I think the coaches do, and finally have found a system that works in the league. So it'll be 5 doubleheaders, I think, during the course of the year. That's 10 of your games, and then the rest of the year you'll have weekday home and home series. And you see everybody and they're fresh in your mind instead of years ago where you'd play somebody, say, in early April and then not see them again until the end of the month. That's about as close as we can get to a true series like they do in some leagues, particularly in Division I, where you'll play 3-game weekend series. Lennon Gomez swings through that one, and it's 0-2. He's hitting .311. He's 2 for 2 today. Single, a double, and a run scored. We have a new pitcher in the game, and it is freshman right-hander Chris Perdoni, a 6-foot, 190-pounder out of Jamesburg, New Jersey, graduate of Monroe Township, New Jersey. We'll take a look at his stats after this pitch. The 1-2 in the dirt. Gomez lays off 2-2. Perdoni, this is his 4th appearance. He has made 1 start, no 1-loss decisions. He's got a 4.38 ERA. So far in 12.1 innings, he has struck out 10, but he has walked 13, a .200 opposing batting average. Swung on and missed. So Perdoni's been wild this year, but he opens this appearance with a strikeout swinging. That'll bring up the right fielder Juan Pena.
Number 13, Juan Pena.
Wish everyone a happy holiday weekend, whether you celebrate Easter or Passover or both like my family does. Or maybe a holiday I don't know about. I mean, there's new ones popping up all the time. I mean, we just had National Puppy Day. I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently, it's National Athletic Trainers Month. It's the last day? Really? Well, I mean, now that I know this is a thing, Ashley, next year we'll have to do something special for you guys. We'll make you a cake made out of pre-wrap. That would be fantastic. Frosted pre-wrap. 3 balls, no strikes here to Pena. That's a called strike. So April is on its way. Tomorrow is April Fool's Day. Every year I've had a history of doing something outrageous in the office. I can't do that this year because April Fool's Day is on a Sunday.
Now batting.
And I'll bring up Kraft after Pena walks on 5 pitches, I should say. I mean, the greatest April Fool's joke of all time was about 10 years ago when my youngest sister and I played a practical joke on our mother. It led her to believe that our brother had been arrested for running somebody over accidentally. Running over their foot. And she believed she believed us. And then after she found out it was a practical joke, didn't talk to us for about 2 weeks. There's more to the story, but it's not exactly PG, so we won't give the full details on the broadcast. But let's just say we're not allowed to play practical jokes on Mom anymore. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Kraft. Inside, throw down to second base, and Pena's going to steal. That was at the feet of Kraft. Really tough one for the catcher Vetter to have to dig out. Best joke I ever played in the office was when, years ago, long before you were here, day before I borrowed crutches from the office and came in the next day with a knee brace on and crutches and was limping around the office all day. Everybody was fooled. Most of those folks don't work here anymore, and I wonder if I scared them off. Of course, in karma, and that is line to left field. That's a base hit. Pena, he's around third. He will score to make it 4-3, and Kraft at second with a double. That is the 7th double of the year for Kraft. He leads the team.
Now batting, left fielder, number 25, Mike Albunia.
So it's now 4-3. Each team with 7 hits, and I'll bring up Mike Albunia. So to finish that story, so I had the practical joke. This has got to be about 10, 12 years ago. Actually, it was 2006. It was right before I turned 30. I remember this now. And I had just actually started playing soccer again in some of these adult leagues, 25 and older leagues. So came in with the knee injury. I was totally healthy. 2 weeks later, I sprained my knee. For real. And I was out of action for about 6 weeks. So a little karma for playing that kind of practical joke. To this day, it's the only knee injury I've ever had in my life, other than like a bursa sac injury. I've never had a sprain or anything until that, and I wonder if the injury gods were laughing at me for playing that April Fool's joke. So tomorrow there will be no jokes. There will be Easter eggs all over the yard. And then I will shamelessly eat all my kids' candy. As fouled off, 1-2. Kraft is at second, by the way. He represents a tying run. The Gothic Knights trailed 4-0, but they have chipped away at this Cougar lead with single runs in the first, second, and third innings. Oh, we got to update the scoreboard here. Come on, midfielder. You got this. It's Nina's first game working for us, so we're still trying to get her into the groove. And now Bunya at the plate. Castellano is on deck. The Gothic Knights trying to tie this one up. Low. Good eye by Albunya. And it's 2-2. Foul back towards us. Did you flinch? No? How about you, Nina? You good? She's good. Nobody's flinched. Everybody can stay in the press box. Also joining us in the box is Anthony Zaccaro. He was the winning pitcher against Old Westbury on Thursday as the Gothic Knights doubled them up 10-5. How long of a ride out to the island was that for you guys? So that's a long one of your longest regular season rides of the year. The 2-2 ground ball bobbled at third base. The throw gets past the first baseman. 2 errors on the play. Kraft had to hold up, so he'll go to third. So that is actually 2 errors on 1 play, both on the third baseman. One allowing Abunya to reach, and then the other for allowing Kraft to advance. And that's now 4 errors in the game on the Cougars. So an E5 fielding error. And then he advanced on an E5 throwing error. So that's one of those rare situations where you can get 2 errors on one play. And now the Gothic Knights have the tying run at third base. And that's wide of the plate. And it's 2-0. Pulsini is on deck, 1 out, bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3 Kean leads, but the Gothic Knights are threatening against the new pitcher Perdoni. Already 1 run in here in the 6th. Kean has 4 errors in this game. The Gothic Knights so far have been played flawless defense. Throw back to first. That was a little wide of the bag. Krupa had to kind of reach back across his body. Good play by him. Again, stepping off. So 2 errors on that play by Fidanza. 2-0. And going through that, Castellano couldn't hold up. It's 2-1. We still have 9 innings in our next game after this is complete. Let's spend the whole day here at the Garrity Complex. But finally a beautiful day here on March 31st as Perdoni steps off. That's low. And it's 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. That's high. Ball 4 and the bases are loaded. And Tom Pulsini, who's 2 for 3 with a run scored, steps in. So after that discussion, we're going to have a pinch runner at second base for Albunia. It'll be Mike McLaughlin. And that's a strategic decision by head coach Jerry Smith, because Pulsini, hitting now .408, steps in with a chance to give the Gothic Knights the lead with a base hit. A walk, however, would tie this game, and that is ball 1. 2 walks already in this inning by Perdoni. We talked about how he had a high strikeout and walk ratio. Now 11 strikeouts, but 15 walks on the year. That's a called strike. And if you can't throw strikes, that is a way to not stay in these games very long, especially with head coach Neil Iverio. Now, this program, the Cougars have been one of the elite in the conference since he's taken over. And pitching has kind of been, more than anything, the forte of that program. And of course, Jerry Smith and Nick Cesare, both Kean products. You've seen some of that tenacity with the Gothic Knights if they've turned NJCU from an also-ran to now a legitimate competitor in this conference. That was a curve for a called strike, so it's now 1-2 to Pulsini. And that's chopped foul. Four to 3, Kean leads, but the Gothic Knights have the bases loaded with one out here in the bottom of the 6th. The 1-2. That is way outside. The 2-2. Swung on and missed with the changeup. And Pulsini down on strikes. And it'll be up to Nick Legato.
Batting the shortstop, number 7, Nick Legato.
Well off the plate. Vetter's able to block that. And Kraft unable to advance. The Gothic Knights score here will be unearned, but the Gothic Knights don't care about whether it's earned or unearned. They just want to even this one up or take the lead heading to the 7th. That is low, 2-0. Legato, again with 12 RBIs on the season. That's second on the team to Dan Berardi. The 2-0 offering. That's on the outside corner. 2-1. Well off the plate. 3-1. And a walk would tie this game. Perdoni deals. Ball 4, and we are even, all square at 4 runs apiece. The third walk of the inning, and we are knotted at 4-4. Kraft coming in.
Center fielder, number 21, Mike Ramirez.
The Gothic Knights with 2 runs in here we're going to have a new pitcher. It is going to be number 37 for Zayas, a freshman out of Jersey City's County Prep. I'll tell you about him when we come back. So the new pitcher is Fernando Zayas. And Mike Ramirez will step in with the bases loaded. Zayas, this is his sixth appearance all in relief. He's 1-0 with a 2.70 ERA, 13.1 innings. He has struck out 6. He has walked 13. Another pitcher who has been wild, and that's ball one to begin. However, he has a 188 opposing batting average. I guess it's hard for players to get hits if they're always walking, though. That is off the plate, 2-0. And Mike Ramirez now has the option to be patient. Bases are loaded. Legato at first, Castellano at second. And McLaughlin, the pinch runners at third. He will probably remain in the game and play the outfield. Freshman out of Clifton. 3-0. Unable to locate the strike zone. And Ramirez can keep the bat on his shoulder for a moment if he would like. It's called strike 3-1. And if I was Ramirez, I think I would take another pitch here. Senior out of Old Bridge, New Jersey, St. Joseph's Metuchen High School. The 3-1. Outside ball 4. Back-to-back bases loaded walks, and the Gothic Knights with 3 runs home here in the 6th inning. Now in front 5-4.
Now batting, first baseman, number 14, Dan Berardi.
McLaughlin scores, and Dan Berardi will come up with the bases loaded. That's a called strike. So a 1-strike count to Dan Berardi, who could quickly make this a bigger lead with one swing of the bat. Ground ball up the middle. That'll do it. Castellano, he scores. Legato, he's on his way home. It's a 2-run single. Then we got a rundown play here on 8-1 to 5. But Berardi drives in 2. And the Gothic Knights now lead 7-4 with 5 runs in here in the 6th inning. So a single up the middle for Berardi, 2 RBIs. Ramirez is out 8-1 to 5, if I saw that correctly. Legato scores and Castellano scores. In the 6th inning for NJCU, 5 runs,
We have 5 runs,
2 hits. There were 2 errors
and 2 errors.
and 1 left on.
1 left on.
We head to the 7th inning. It's 7-4 NJCU. So now it's 7 for the Gothic Knights with a 5-run 6th inning, and they lead 7-4, and Kyle Kafer now has a 3-run cushion. So Vetter the batter hitting .278 on the season. That's inside. Vetter in this contest, 2 groundouts. Second base and to the pitcher. It's called strike 3 and 2. And that is ball for.
Now batting, the shortstop, number 10, Brandon Johannesson.
So Johannesson, the shortstop, will step in. He has lined out and singled. He's driven in 1 run. The Cougars scored first in the first, put up 2 more in the third, and went up 4-0 with a run in the fourth. But the Gothic Knights got a run back in the bottom of the fourth, another run in the fifth, and now 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, 4 of which were unearned. Ball 2, 2-1 here to Johannesson. Runner at first. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th. That is a called strike. Two and two here to Johannesson. Freshman out of Roxbury, New Jersey, Morris Catholic High School. And that's fouled off to our right. (7-4) NJCU now on top after trailing 4-0. They have scored 7 unanswered. Kyle Kafer, chance to be the pitcher of record now in the positive side. Lined over the head of a leaping Polsini for a base hit. Stopping at second is Vetter, so the two leadoff batters are on. A walk by Vetter, a single to right center by Johannesson.
Second baseman, number 11, Connor DeForge.
And I'll bring up DeForge, the second baseman. DeForge is hitting 156. He walked in the 3rd. And then was caught looking in the 4th. Quick meeting at the mound here. And Jerry Smith now out to have a chat with Kafer. I wonder if this was a delay tactic to allow a little extra time for a pitcher to warm up. Kafer has thrown 106 pitches, and his day will be done. So Kyle Kafer will leave. He will hand the ball off to Jose Ortiz. NJC will go from one starting pitcher to another as they try to hold on to a 7-4 lead here in Jersey City. We'll be right back. So Kafer's out. Jose Ortiz with runners at first and second. We'll try to get the Gothic Knights out of a jam here in the top of the 7th. The Gothic Knights in front now 7-4. Taking a look at the line on the year for Jose Ortiz. He enters the game with a record of 1-1 on the year. This is his 4th appearance, second in relief, a 5.40 ERA. In 15 innings, he has struck out 13, walked 10. .290 opposing batting average. Ortiz, the junior right-hander out of Perth Amboy, New Jersey, Perth Amboy High School. DeForge will try to sacrifice the runners over. First pitch is outside. Vetter was dancing a little far off the bag at second, and Castellano is going to keep him honest. Johannesson's at first. Castellano keeping him honest, firing basically a strike down to second base. Off the plate as well, 2-0. Berardi came all the way in, try to field that bunt. I mean, if he does try to sacrifice here, you wonder if the Knights try to go to third with the ball. 2-0. Bunted towards the third base side. Ortiz's throw is in time. Pulsini covering the back, so that's a 5-4 sacrifice, and the runners advance.
Now batting, left fielder, number 2.
So 1 away, but 2 runners in scoring position for the leadoff man in the lineup, the left fielder Frank Logidice. I've been saying that name wrong now, probably for every time I said it for the last couple years, so apologize to Frank, but no apologies for him. He's had a good day. 2 runs scored, a walk, and a run scored in the first, a double, and a run scored in the third. 1 for 2 overall. Now hitting .314 on the season. His updated average to the moment. 7-4 NJCU in the top of the 7th. That curve is inside. Also low, so 1-0. Off the plate. Logidice has 6 RBIs on the year, considering he's at the top of the order. So pretty good numbers thus far. He's tied for 4th on the team. That's a called strike. 2-1. Kean has been outscored this year 132-89 entering play today, and that is uncommon to see that kind of discrepancy for any Cougar squad. They have struggled to score runs. Only 89 runs in 21 games coming in. They've scored 4 today. But they're basically averaging about 4.5 runs a game. Paul Zano is actually their RBI leader entering play. He's the only player on the team who has started all 21 games entering action. He's starting today, of course. He's their team leader with 11 RBIs. John Corella, who is not playing in this game, is second with 10 ribbies. They have 1 home run as a team this year. 2 balls, 1 strikes. Ortiz, and that's fouled away by Logidice. And you look, down the line, in virtually every offensive category, Kean has been out-hit this year. Where they have been strongest defensively, they have a .973 fielding percentage as a team, and that's really good. Ankle high, ball 3. So a full count here with 1 out. And runners at second and third. Top of the 7th in Jersey City, game 1 between these schools. The 3-2. Nice. Chopper towards second. Pulsini to Ortiz. In time, it will score a run, however. And it's 7-5. So a 3-1 putout. And an RBI. Johannesson to third.
Number 23, Mike Fidan.
And it'll be Fidanza, the third baseman, due up here. So 2 away, runner at third. Kean's first run since the 4th inning. That's high. Kean has played a lot of close games. 1-run win over Farmingdale 3 days ago. A 1-run win over Staten Island earlier this week. 2-0 pitch, that's inside. Kean has only scored in double-figure runs, I believe, once this year. That was against Susquehanna back on March 3rd. Inside, and Fidanza walks him some 4 pitches. So now the tying run at first. It'll bring up their RBI leader, Polizano.
Number 19, Nick Polizano.
Nick Legato runs in to have a quick chat with Jose Ortiz. And out comes Nick Cesare, the NJCU pitching coach, former Cougar himself. That meeting will break up momentarily. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Gothic Knights. Again, NJCU 8-4 on the year. They've won their last 3 games. 2 games today against Kean. Then Tuesday, they will head down to Dover, Delaware for a non-conference game, 4 o'clock start against the Wolverines of Wesley College before returning here to the Thomas M. Garrity Athletic Complex next Thursday against Rutgers Newark in game 1 of a home-and-home series. Curve is wide. Next Saturday, the Knights are home for a doubleheader against William Patterson. One ball, no strikes. That's a call, strike 1-1, and then Castellano fired down to second base just to keep Fidanza honest down there. And NJCU will also have a makeup game next Sunday out in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania against Kings, PA. Fastball just a little bit low. It's 2-1. 7-5 the Knights lead here in the top of the 7th. The last time they beat Kean here in Jersey City, Kean was number 1 in the country back in 2014. Fastball called strike 2-2. Obviously, the teams haven't played here every year. In fact, I think this might be the first time we've been back here in Jersey City since then. Actually, Anthony Zaccaro just keeping me in check here. Actually, the following year they came back here, and then we were at Kean both in 2016 and 2017. So it's the first time back here since 3 years ago. That's a call. Strike 3 looking in the outside corner. And Polizano down on strikes. And a big strikeout by Ortiz to end the frame. In the seventh for Kean, a run on one hit.
For Kean, we have a run, 1 hit.
And 2 left on base. Seventh inning stretch coming up in Jersey City. 7-5 Gothic Knights. And Gomez steps to the plate in the bottom of the seventh inning. The graphics will be enhanced a little bit now as Yuri Brutus from the men's basketball team has joined us to help out. And an 0-1 count here. Gothic Knights looking to tack on a run for the 4th inning in a row. That is not a strike.
No flinch, just a little move out of the way.
Zayas out there to begin this inning for Kean after he came in relief. Ground ball, third base. And that's in time to retire Gomez for out number 1.
Now batting, the right fielder.
So throw out by Fidanza. That's out number 1. Brings up Juan Pena, hitting .341 on the year. So 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Kraft. And that's going to fall into left field for a 2-out base hit, his second hit of the game. So Mike McLaughlin will step in.
Now batting, number 36, left fielder, Mike McLaughlin.
Mike McLaughlin, a freshman out of Clifton, New Jersey, 5'8", 160-pound right-hander. His brother Dan, twin brother, is also on the team, a third baseman for the Knights. Inside to McLaughlin, looking for his first collegiate hit. Back here, top of the 8th inning, 7-5 NJCU in front of Kean. And Jose Ortiz will face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Krupa, Santagate, and Walker. Krupa hitting .319. He's 2 for 3 today with 2 RBIs and a double. Inside. About 51 degrees right now, still sunny skies. Beautiful late March day for baseball. Not too much wind. in on the hands. Curve a little high, 3-2. Popped. Curve a little high, 3-2. In the air. Right field and coming in, dropping the ball, losing in the sun was Pena. Throw to second, not in time. Did that hit him in the head? That's an error on Pena. I can't call that an error or a hit for losing in the sun. That's just a drop, and unfortunately for the sun was a factor on that fly ball. An E9 drop, and he advances on the air. So Santagate will step up, man base, and nobody out. Curveball in the outside corner. In the dirt, 1-1 as that caroms off the backstop and right back to Castellano. (7-5) NJCU on top. Trying to start off the NJAC season with a come-from-behind win. They are 8-4 on the year. They've won their last 3. Solid fastball in the outside corner. Ortiz, good location there. And it's 1-2. Top of the 8th, nobody out. Krupa on the air at second base. That was the first error of the game on the Gothic Knights. Cougars uncharacteristically committed 4. That is punched foul. And over the head of the bleacher fans. All the seating at the Garrity Complex is now down the first base side. Years ago we had seating down the left field line, but that has since been moved, and probably better off because on the third base side you're dealing with the wind off the bay on some of the cold days, and you need to huddle under blankets when that happens. You still do on some days regardless, but Santagate representing, though, the tying run for the Cougars at the plate right now. The 1-2. Drops in. Strike 3 looking. And Santagate, all he could do is smirk. He knew it. A great pitch from Jose Ortiz. So it'll bring up the center fielder Walker, who's for 3 today. A double, a single run scored, and a grounded out shortstop, average at 188. Graphics look a lot better now that we actually have someone running them. So good job, Yuri Brutus. Popped in the air. Shallow right. Pulsini makes the catch. So 2 away. And it'll be the catcher Vetter due up. Going to have a pinch hitter here. Number 28, Tim Huxon.
Pinch hitting for Kean is number 28, Tim Huxton.
So we have a pinch hitter here. It'll be Tim Huxon. He's a freshman out of Bakersfield, California. But he went to Ridge, New Jersey High School. That's a little bit closer than Bakersfield. Time granted by the home plate umpire here in today's game, and that is Derek Millick. Johannesson is on deck. Ortiz deals, that's wide. Off the plate. 2 outs, runner at second. Ortiz trying to keep this a 2-run lead. That's 3-0. Of course, inning should be over as Krupa reached on the drop fly. 3 balls and no strikes. Throw down the second base, and Krupa's in safely. Yeah, Yuri Brutus, who is going to be back next year for his senior season on the men's basketball team. The team will be looking to make its 3rd straight trip to the NCAAs next year, and they have basically everybody back. They'll be returning about 95% of its scoring, including Sam Toney. Toney has won every award you could possibly think of this year. 3 All-American teams, and he can't announce it officially yet, but he'll win another Player of the Year award pretty soon. Ground ball through the right side. Pena gets to it quickly and fires it into Dan Berardi. So 2 outs, runners on the corners, but now the times are both on base. As high as well, 2-1. Yeah, the one's over there. 2-1 is the count. We have 2 outs, 7-5 NJCU. Called strike. Corella disagreed with it. Ortiz is a strike away from getting out of this inning, which should have been over had it not been for the error. A 2-run lead for NJCU against a opponent that has been a 4 conference for years. Although the Cougars are struggling a little bit in 2018. The 2-2. Off the plate, ball 3, count is full. Ball 3, count is full. Three-two. Swung on and missed, and he strikes out Corella, and the inning is over. Ortiz gets Corella to chase that pitch. Huxon and Krupa are... Ortiz gets Corella to chase that pitch. Huxon and Krupa are stranded. Gothic Knights get through the 8th inning, leading by at least 7-5, and they will be coming up in the bottom of the inning. 8th inning for the Cougars. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and Back here for the bottom of the 8th inning, Ira Thor in Jersey City, 7-5 NJCU leading. A couple defensive changes for the Cougars. Now catching is freshman Zach Sire out of Old Bridge, New Jersey, 6'2", 175-pounder. And now at shortstop is Anthony Loriano, a freshman out of Emerson, New Jersey, 6'2", 200. And Jan Castellano steps in, facing Zayas. First pitch is one. This one on a cut. And it's 1-1. Castellano today is 0 for 2 with a run scored. Gotham Knights would to this lead, give Ortiz some padding heading to the 9th inning. Game 2 of this will probably not start till after 3 p.m. at this point. And when we put these games on the schedule, we approximate that 2.5 hours, but that happened. That's high, 3-1. So a 1-out walk. Nick Legato will step in. So runner at first for NJCU with one better hitter stepping to the dish right now. Foul back towards me, and I broke my own cardinal rule. I actually blinked. I am now banished from the press box. That will happen maybe twice over the course of a season. That is the first time this year. That's each team with 9 hits. NJCU scored 5 runs as that go over to first, I should say. Scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, 4 of which were unearned. And that right now is the difference in this game. Ball and a strike. Legato facing the pitcher, Zayas. Chopped foul. Zayas so far 1 2/3 innings in relief. Faced 8 batters, strikeouts, 2 walks. He's allowed just 2 hits. Another throw back to first. Pulsini keeping NJCU equipment manager Leonard Hewley very busy on Monday because that uniform is filthy. There goes Pulsini. And he came back. I thought Pulsini was going, and he went about 30 feet off the bag and came back. Inside 2-2. And that is strike 3. Look, Legato down on strikes. So 2 away here in the 8th.
Now batting, center fielder, number 21, Mike Ramirez.
So 7-5 NJCU, 2 outs here on the bottom. Mike Ramirez will step in, hitting .273. 2 RBIs in this game, including a bloated walk. There goes Pulsini. Their throw to second base, not in time. Still on base for Pulsini with 2 away. In the dirt, there goes Pulsini. There will be no throw, and he moves up on the wild pitch. So Pulsini now at third. Be a crucial insurance run if NJCU could drive him in. That's off the plate. With Dan Berardi on deck. That's a called strike. One fastball is also 3-2. Popped in the air. Left center, Lojadice settling underneath it, and he makes the catch. And the inning comes to a close. So Ramirez flies out. Pulsini is stranded at third. No runs. NJCU leading 7-5. Mike Ramirez will come in to try to close this out. Moves from center field to the mound. Jesse Kraft, who is at third, is now in center. And coming to play third base defensively will be junior Matt Coursey, infielder out of Toms River, New Jersey. And the first pitch to DeForge is ball one. It'll be we actually have a pinch hitter, number 14, Jimmy Fitzgerald, for DeForge. Did not see him slide in. So Fitzgerald is in now in the 9 spot. It's a 2-ball count to him. So 2-1 to Fitzgerald. That's fouled away. Fitzgerald is a senior out of Lyndhurst, New Jersey, a left-handed hitter, 5'10", 175. NJCU trying for a Game 1 win. Would be their 9th win in a year and their 4th in a row. Called strike 3 looking. Ramirez throws him with a curveball for out number 1.
Now batting, left fielder, 2. Frank Lujudis.
He had runs, actually 2 runs scored. He actually walked and scored in the first as well. I keep overlooking that. And grounded out and drove in a run in the 7th. That was the only run Kean had since the 4th inning. As Kyle Kafer, Jose Ortiz combining to keep the Cougars off the board in the later innings. Center field, pedaling, reaching up, and making the stretching catch is Kraft for out number 2. So the Gothic Knights are an out away from prevailing today.
Now batting, third baseman,
it'll be up to Fidanza, the third baseman. That's a called strike. 2-strike count. And Kean is down to the final strike. Ramirez looking for his save of the year. Ground ball up the middle. This will be a base hit, so Kean will extend the game. That's one more batter. So, outs, one man on. Fidanza at first, and Polizano will step in. The right fielder represents the tying run. 1 for 4 in this game. He has a single and a run scored. Mike Ramirez on the year. This is his 4th appearance, although he's been in every game in the outfield or as DH. Ramirez has made 1 start. He's 1-0 overall, 2.19 ERA, 15 strikeouts, just 4 walks in 12.1 innings. Great start to the year for Ramirez. That ball got away from Castellano. He was able to recover in time. Right now, Mike Ramirez, a 143 opposing batter average coming in, having an all-conference caliber year. Midway, his senior campaign. Been a workhorse for the Knights the last 4 years. 2-ball count, however. Outside corner with the fastball, 2-1. Ramirez started the game in center. Moving to the mound. So you can get the Knights this game on victory. That is low, 3-1. Ramirez has been their best overall pitcher this year. Although Anthony Carfora would like to have an argument there with a 10 strike, 2 walk ratio on the year himself. That's ball 4, so that is a walk, and that puts the tying runs on base for dangerous hitter Matt Krupa. Mentioning Anthony Carfora, he's 2-0 in the year. Won both games same in Florida. Became the first player on record in school. We have a pinch runner at first base. It's number 29, Devin Rodriguez. And Matt Krupa steps in. Extra base hit actually tie this game. Round the first. Not in time. Nearly caught Rodriguez, the pinch runner, off the bag, underestimating the strength of the arm from Castellano. However, it's now 2-0. And now we're getting a little bit of a danger zone here. Wild pitch. Everyone is going to advance, and the tying runs are in scoring position. And they're going to intentionally put Krupa on base here with a 3-ball count. And the bases are now full. And Nick Cesare will have a conversation with Santagate due up. Santa Gate hitting 236. A base hit could tie him.
Number 32.
And we will have a pinch hitter. Will be number 32, Ryan Ruzicki. I should say.
Is number 32, Ryan Ruzecki.
Ruzecki is a 5'9", 180-pound rookie out of Middletown South High School in Middletown, New Jersey. And that is ball one. A walk doesn't hurt NJCU, but a base hit could. The 1-0 at fastball for a strike. Can Ramirez get out of a jam here in the top of the ninth? Reserve a 2-run win. The 1-1. Fastball right down the middle, strike two. And the Knights again are a strike away from winning game one. Bases are full of Cougars. NJCU into 5. Ruzecki, the rookie pinch hitter. Big burden on his bat right now. The 1-2 pitch from Ramirez. That's fouled off to our right. A game that is more than 3 hours old already. And we have another 9 to play after this. Kean now has a 10-9 edge in hits, by the way, in this game. After that single that kept this inning alive. These pitches off the plate, 2-2. Tried to get him to chase. And Ruzecki laid off. Ruzecki's hitting 222 on the year, 6 hits and 27 at bats. He does not RBI yet in his career. The 2, swung, 3, got a chase, and the ball game is over. Ramirez got in the jam, but he got himself out of trouble and chalk up the W for the Gothic Knights as they knock off Kean in Game 1 of this 2018 NJAC opener by a score of 7-5. And NJCU improves to 9-4 on the year. They win their 4th in a row. Great start to the NJAC slate, knocking off one of the league's perennial powers. In the 9th inning for Kean, no runs on 1 hit and 3 left on. Your final score in game number 1, New Jersey City, 7 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. Kean, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 4 errors. With the win, NJCU wins their 4th in a row. They are now 9-4 on the year. Game 2 of our doubleheader will begin in roughly 30 minutes. So that'll do it for game number 1. A 5-run 6th inning is enough as NJCU comes from 4 runs down. They trailed 4-0 before rallying to beat Kean today in game 1, 7-5. We'll be back on the air at approximately 3:15 to get you ready for game 2 of our doubleheader as the Gothic Knights prevail today by a score of 7-5.